So welcome to episode 27 of the Inside Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Castro, and today we've taken the show on the road to New Hope, Pennsylvania. I'm extremely excited to bring you one of the premier agents in Pennsylvania, and in my opinion, a total badass. I've been working with agents for nearly 20 years, and this one stands out, selling just shy of $200 million in 3 years in real estate. Right now, we're going to talk to her about how she does it. Ladies and gentlemen, Revi Haviv.
Hi, guys. This is so exciting.
Thanks for taking the time today. So I don't know, we met a while ago, and I see a lot of agents, and you were different, like just like the level of professionalism, and I just think you're on a different level, and I thought there's a lot you could bring to the table for, people who are listening. But I do know you have an interesting background, so could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Well, my background as far as business goes stems primarily from the business of fashion. I have lived in Bucks County for almost 20 years, and I have been a men's and women's apparel buyer for my family's clothing store located right in downtown New Hope. We carry European style clothing, so it's kind of edgy, it's high end, it's unique, it's expensive, it's hard to find. So my job has really been to work with very high end people who are looking for like a curated shopping experience, sifting and searching for the next best trends, working with manufacturers from Italy and France and all over the world, making sure my orders get in on time, predicting, fashion, you have to order everything a year in advance. So it was very difficult because every time I was at a trade show doing buying, it's like, okay, do I think the black or the brown or the orange or the rainbow is going to be better in a year from now? Who knows? You don't know, right? So the business of fashion is, you could learn a lot from the business of fashion, and I truly, truly did. And I think it's definitely helped my success as a realtor, because essentially what running the store has taught me is that you are responsible for your success, you and only you. It involves being extremely hardworking and extremely creative. That probably just goes for any small business or entrepreneurial spirit, that is. So yeah, I mean, that my background is different in that regard, because I guess a lot of my degree has come from real life experience and just working. And also the business of fashion is very intimidating, especially as a men's buyer. I'm a woman, and going to these trade shows with only men dressed in suits and like looking down on me, just always kind of be like, oh, like, what do you know about, men's sportswear or blazers or peak lapel or all the fashion terminology? And so it really taught me thick skin and how to not be intimidated. And I kind of flipped the narrative on a lot of these, I don't know, Italian men type of machismo personalities. And it's definitely just helped me as a businesswoman, because it makes me be the intimidating one to other people now, even though I'm very, very nice and very friendly and, have a very butterfly-like spirit. But life's tough, And so in order to be a successful businesswoman, you just really need to believe in yourself, believe in what you're saying, always be truthful and honest. And what I always say is, if you believe in something, you could always make it happen. So that is my background, fashion, and the wonderful world of it.
Cool. Yeah, so I remember when we were shooting that property, you were like this, nice, friendly, and everything. And then I heard you get on a phone call, and that's when I knew, I'm like, oh, she's no joke. Like, it was just like the business switch got flipped. I was like,
I don't remember that, but it sounds very accurate.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, you could talk to my brother about that. He'd be like, oh, the stories he could tell you.
I bet. So how would you describe your real estate business? Let's start there.
Amazing.
Okay.
I love it. My real estate business just really works for a personality like mine because of it's always changing. No 2 days are the same. People are absolutely insane. It is so stressful, but it offers me so much variety as far as learning about different personalities, learning what people want, putting together the art of a deal, negotiations, whether it's a $500,000 house or a $5 million property, always making things work. I think that the business of real estate is really more about the business of communication and social skills and problem solving more than anything else. There's always a strategy. There's always a way out. I tell my assistant Steph all the time, like, if we're trying to figure something out, if we're trying to do something, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna do it no matter what. No matter if someone says, I will not sell that to you unless it's this number, or no way, forget about it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah. Because it's always a matter of time. It's a matter of persistence. So the real estate business, also you have to genuinely love what you're doing. Like, I genuinely love getting up. I love the hustle. I love searching for new land so I could bring it to builders, be like, look what I got. Da, da, da. It just keeps life exciting, and the element of the unknown and being creative as far as a homeowner who has no vision and they're like, I want to sell my house and what is it worth and what do I do? And I'm just like, say no more. You don't need to do anything. Let me do everything. And I do everything because my background in fashion is really, really, I have a strong design sense as far as styling goes and colors and staging, and everything all kind of comes together. So I'm really hold people's hands, and I'm really kind of like a jack of all trades in that regard. And yeah, it's really, real estate is really about communications, and also I should probably have a therapist degree at this point because the shit that people call me about and what they're going through in life, it's amazing. Thank God I have my family, because every day they're like, all right, what today? What now? I'm like, well, you're never going to believe this one. You're just never going to believe it. And so that's why they always say, Revi, you really need your own reality show, because they really can't believe it. And Steph, my assistant, who's literally my right-hand man, and just the stuff that she hears, and I don't know. We absolutely love it though. And the success is secondary. Honestly, for me, how I feel on the inside, it's if I sold $10 million today, as I was sitting talking to you on this podcast, it would be the same as, what I've sold, which is closer to 80 million, because it's those are just numbers. It's really for me about.
You actually like doing it.
I actually like doing it. I actually like meeting new people and just listening and the challenge. And so growth is very important for me. And so I'm constantly thinking about what I could be doing next, what I'm not doing enough of, how I could expand my horizons, what is happening in real estate that somebody hasn't come up with yet, or just interesting things. And it's weird. You have to really, I guess, have this self kind of confidence too, which I don't really have all the way. I don't really love filming myself, walking through a property being like, hello. No, this I don't like either. But the camera is very small, so it's not overwhelming for me. Yep. But, opening the front door, being like, hello and welcome to 511 Fairview Lane. It just feels so artificial. And I feel like a lot of realtors make it about themselves. What's my outfit like? And, I think that we have these reality shows nowadays, Selling Sunset and all this stuff. And these.
I was thinking Selling New Hope could be on the horizon.
Selling New Hope. Well, it would be very different from what probably the country is used to seeing, because I do not wear 5-inch stilettos. That is ridiculous and not comfortable, And you don't have to. I'm wearing hiking boots 9 out of the 10 times just because it's I'm working. I'm on new construction sites. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So I don't know. I'm really getting sidetracked.
That's okay. All right. So for somebody if they were to go look at what you've sold in the last year, or what you have pending, all that type of stuff, they would be like, oh, she's a luxury agent. Would you consider yourself a luxury agent, or you just happen to be in a high price point?
I would consider myself a luxury agent because of the price points that I've sold, but also because I know how to present a product at a luxury level.
Okay. So that's awesome. So before we get further into that, so define luxury.
Okay. Define luxury in real estate.
Yes.
Luxury is defined as being something that is on another level, right? So not cookie cutter, has a unique, ID to it, and of good quality, meaning the home possesses really strong brand names, as far as appliances go, and materials that go into your home, and property, the property that you have. It's several components that when you blend them all together, you have a luxury product. Now, I'm not gonna lie, often I could be like a luxury magician, right? So I could take something that seemingly could be cookie cutter, but I elevate it to have a luxury feel to it. And that's really kind of like just being a good person.
Can you unpack that a little bit? Like, what do you do?
I mean, that involves creativity with your photography, creativity with your marketing, creativity with your dialogue, how you come up with a listing description, how you present yourself when you have a showing. How you. A lot of times I've seen listings sit on the markets with other realtors because they just take pictures of the property, write something about it, put an unrealistic price point on the property, and then put it up for sale, and then expect, the phone's not ringing. Oh, nothing. Well, why do you think this is happening?
You have to sell it.
It's not about just selling it. It's because you are responsible to giving it the energy to make that fucking product sell. So if the photos are ugly, change the color of the wall. Move the furniture to a different way. Get new furniture. I don't care if the sellers are living there or not. You got to tell them that fucking brown couch is very ugly and it doesn't make the cut. Your house or not your house. You want to sell it? You want to get the number you want to get? You got to listen to me, baby. So,
yes.
So I have told people, and that's the other thing. I guess I'm very direct and I'm not afraid of hurting people's feelings because ultimately it's on me to get them the number that they want to see wired into their bank account. And it doesn't just happen snapping your fingers. Okay. So a lot of to present a property in a luxury level, I think that creative photography and a cohesive package, making marketing material easily accessible just to read how it's presented, all of these things come into play. I have a whole team of professionals that I have in my back pocket for whatever I need, right? If I go into a house, I'm like, first things first, these hot pink walls, they ain't gonna fly. I call my painter in, he's there the next day, he's giving them a quote, we're fixing the colors of the walls. Also another thing is I'm really not cheap. I'm not responsible for paying to paint somebody's walls, right? If the color needs to be painted in order for them to sell the house. But sometimes people they're going through a divorce or there's this or there's that. I always am like a team player. So if it's going to cost me $600 or $700, I offer. And maybe that's just something that other people don't do. But again, what's $700 out of my pocket when the end goal is going to be the highest price, the highest home sale in that neighborhood?
Sure.
So, it's just, I'm not afraid of spending money and I'm not afraid of doing things differently. And this has kind of just snowballed for me.
In 3 years.
Yeah.
So I deal with a lot of agents and I hear from a bunch of them all the time, like, hey, I want to get more into luxury and this, that, and the other thing. For a lot of them, I think in their heads, it is just the price point. Like, hey, if it's over $1 million, I'm now a luxury agent. But in my opinion, it's so much more than that. And it sounds like that's the way you're looking at it too. So let's talk about what does what are the expectations of somebody who wants to sell something that you would put in the luxury category versus somebody that wants to sell a $500,000 house?
Well, the expectations of somebody that wants to sell something at luxury, usually their expectations are unrealistic and too high, to tell you the truth, especially in our area in New Hope, because the inventory is so low and the demand is so high that people who are sitting on a property that was built in the 1990s, they just automatically think that that their property, just warrants $500,000 more than the actual value is, just because of where we are. So it's a tricky question, actually.
Let's get away from the price point for a minute. Like when it comes to that, like I understand what you're saying 100%, but like, does it require a higher level of understanding the market? Does it require better negotiation skills?
It does.
Like those type of things. Like what are they expecting from their agent at that level?
It does require a higher level of expertise on all levels. First and foremost, dealing with other interested buyers or sellers, you have to know how to speak to people that come from a certain ilk, right? There's a way to deal with wealth, people who possess wealth, their personalities, their expectations. And so when you're representing a property that's $4 million or $5 million, you really have to be finessed and have an elegance, a confidence, and an understanding of the product that you're selling. You kind of have to wear a lot of different hats, and you really need to be educated on what it is that you're selling, right? Was there an addition put on this home? If so, when? What was done? What were the seller improvements that the seller has done to this house to increase its value by $1 million? What type of septic system has been installed? And, has it been recently? Education is everything. I make sure that I know everything about a property that I have to represent at a luxury level, because I don't want to sound like an idiot, like I don't want somebody else to stump me. And so, it's like hiring a good lawyer, right? If you are committed of a crime that you didn't commit, you hire the best lawyer, to represent your case. So if somebody wants to sell a house at $5 million, they need to hire somebody who's going to represent them in the best degree. And I think that's all just about intelligence.
So let's say I'm a seller, a would-be seller in this area, for example. I've interviewed a couple agents. You're coming in and sitting down, and I'm like, I'm looking for the best agent around. I feel like these other agents don't have the level of experience that I'm looking for, and I really want somebody who understands the New Hope market.
Yeah.
Revi, tell us about New Hope and what you can do for us.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I'm put in those interviews or situations often. And honestly, I do win a lot of listings over other realtors. I'm not really sure why. I think I just tell the truth. I think that I'm not afraid to tell the seller, listen, I really wish I could tell you that I'm going to be able to sell your house for $3 million. But the truth is, I think that's absolutely insane. If you want to sell your house and if you want me to represent you, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And we need to be at 2.25 million. Otherwise, your house is going to sit on the market, but you could call me after 8 months when you've lived that reality, and then we'll talk. So I think it's really just about being honest and being confident. And I am confident. I'm confident because I speak the truth.
Yep. Now, every time I see you post something, just listed this, like, it seems like the next day it's like it's under contract, and they're like big dollar listings. It seems like you put them up and you knock them down. How much of that is that's just the money that's out here, and how much of it is what you're doing?
I don't know. I mean,
it's a combination.
I do sell properties quickly, but it's not all the time. I mean, some are much harder than others. No two deals are similar. to be honest, the higher priced listings that are 2.5 million and higher, they do typically take a little bit longer to sell than the sweet spot listings that are 750 to 1.5. I think that what you're seeing on my social media, why you see that I have been selling and selling, I represent a lot of buyers. And so that's very unique for me, because somebody who's an agent who sells as much as I sell, which is a lot in a year, typically those numbers are reflective of agents who have been in the industry for 30 years and are listing agents only. If you're a listing agent only, like, that's where the power is, but that's not me, because I'm still like a rookie in this business. 75% of my business is buyers, and I attribute that to my personality and being a good matchmaker. I'm not a good matchmaker when it comes to men and matching myself to another man. I'm a great matchmaker when it comes to what somebody should wear, as far as a really nice leather jacket that's going to complement their body, or a house that somebody should buy to complement their lifestyle. So that's just the luck that I've been given. So yeah, I put things together, but I also educate myself. So when I have a buyer that says, hi, I want to buy something. I'm not really in a rush. I'll spend $1 million, and we don't really care about land. And yeah, we're not afraid of a fixer-upper. And I'll look at them, and I just am able to analyze somebody and just understand exactly what they want. And then I'm constantly searching the market, both on and off market. And I get an internal feeling. I'm like, this is it. This is the one. I know it. And I'm very fast. Speed in real estate is everything. And it's just how I was born. I'm fast. Nobody could slow me down. And so I'm on top of my game. Like, I'm on top of stuff. I will text you at 5:30 in the morning if I feel like you need to know that this house is coming on the market and you're going to buy it. And that's what I'll tell them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Right, let's talk. I couldn't tell you were fast. Okay, so let's talk about running a successful real estate business. And I want to start with, so you've been in the business for about 3 years. How did you start from I got my license? Talk about the path that got you to where you
I had no clue about up from down. I had no idea what I was doing. I remember, I think I started studying for my real estate license during quarantine because I just got bored. And, I could only suntan so much outside. And I was like, Also, I would drive around this area and I'd see some other female names on real estate signs, and I happened to know them. And I just say to myself, if they could do this, there's no way that I can't do this. So that was a little bit of the fire that fueled me.
So you're competitive too.
Fiercely competitive.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I decided that I was going to study to get my real estate license, I didn't know what course to go to. I knew nothing. I remember I said to my brother, because I was working a full-time job at the store, and my brother works at the store. It's a family business. And I was like, listen, I'm going to get my real estate license, and my goal is going to be, if I could sell one house over the course of the year, and maybe I can make $10,000 in commission, that's amazing, right? Isn't that going to be amazing? My brother's like, Revi, you're going to make $100,000 your first year. I was like, what? No way. I mean, numbers like that, I never made significant money like that. It was incomprehensible to me. So, like I said from the beginning, I never thought about the money. The money was the last thing in my mind. It was more of the challenge for me. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't know what I was doing. I'm only here at Addison Wolf because there was this woman, her name is Heidi Mailer, and she knew me. And she knew Art Mazzi, who's the owner of Addison Wolf. And so she knew my personality, and she's like, I think that you really would match the best at Addison Wolf because we're kind of artsy and not corporate and, organic. And so I interviewed at a few places and it just didn't feel right. And then I came to Addison Wolf. I was like, yeah, this will work. I think it's cool here. It's close to my store. Yeah. I could walk to my store because I'm constantly back and forth because I still have another job. I think that people don't realize that, I still do the buying. I'm still answering all the emails for the store. I'm still going to trade shows. It's a little crazy. But so yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. And then my first sale was a $2 million land sale. I didn't know how to sell land. I didn't know how to do a contract. I didn't know anything. But I just followed my gut instincts. And, you know, I don't know. I guess I have a good business sense. And so yeah.
How did you go about like attacking it though? You didn't know anything. So like how did you go about getting your first deal? How did you go about like getting the next, like what were you doing?
I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't really doing anything. I mean, I think what it came down to is that living in this community and operating a business for as long as I did and have, I have a lot of ties in the community. A lot of people knew me. A lot of people know my mom and my dad and my family. And, you know, and so that when you start doing real estate and people just recognize your name, they'll be like, oh yeah. And then just things come together. My first listing that I got, I didn't seek out that seller for the listing. She just happened to live on North Main Street, which is like the hottest real estate in New Hope right now. She just happened to be ready to sell. She just happened to be this cool woman who was like, hey, Revi, you just got your real estate license? I said, hey, yeah. And she said, I'll give you a shot. I said, really? I don't know what I'm doing. You want to give me a shot?
You said that?
Yeah, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I think I'm going to do a good job, but I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, I think you're going to be good. I was like, all right, let's see. She's like, you know, I got lucky, I guess. And so I did everything that I could do to figure it out to get that house sold. That's also my motto. I do everything I possibly can do, even when I get to the point that there's no more tools in my toolbox in my brain, I still keep going, even when there's nothing there. And I got the house sold, and then it kind of started becoming addictive because I'm like, this is very cool. Like this is.
What's your favorite part about doing a deal?
My favorite part about doing a deal is about seeing the vision of something and the potential in something and then bringing it to reality and just knowing that like I believed in something and then a few years later it happened.
Do you, when you're beginning working with a client, is part of your process, because it's funny, I was thinking that word vision. Do you kind of paint a vision for your clients when you're working with them? Like if they're the seller, like this is what I'm going to do. But like, are you kind of...
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's very important because it's important that the seller feels comfortable and confident that, they're in the right hands. I hold people's hands figuratively a lot. So I paint the picture but I also paint a realistic picture. I give scenarios.
Okay.
Either option number 1 is going to happen for us, or option number 2 is going to happen for us, or option number 3 is going to happen for us. But whatever the case is, one of these options is definitely going to happen.
Okay.
And I think that I'm pretty accurate. Like there's somebody that I know and they call me the real estate sniper because
it's probably accurate.
They're like, every time you aim, Revi, it's a direct shot.
I think you can have some fun with that one in the editing room. All right. So you started that way. You kind of fell into your first listing. It went well. And then you kind of started getting addicted to the process. So it probably fueled you to kind of keep going. But now you have a pretty damn good business, right? So what are you doing to like run that business? So you have an assistant, like how do you manage your time? Like, what are you doing to make this business run well? Like, what are the pieces you put in place?
My business model is really interesting because I'm basically a one-man band, right? There are a lot of teams.
Selling a shitload of real estate.
I'm a one-man band selling a lot of real estate. There are a lot of teams in this business, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll you'll hear it's this and that team and so that and that team. And these teams could have 3 people on their team. They could have 10 people on their team. They could have 50. And, I'm producing numbers equal or higher of real estate teams that are like 20 people on their team.
Agreed.
And so what I'm doing is that I'm focusing on myself. I'm staying in my own lane. I'm not letting all the other drama and the noise of this, that, and this, blah, 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 distract me, because that's all that it is. They're distractions. Now, if I was a little bit more open-minded, and I'm slowly starting to get there, and said, hey, I'm going to take on Mary, Sue, and Paul on my team, and then if Mary, Sue, and Paul sell 20 million each a year, well, then my numbers go up by 60 million. So why wouldn't I do that? So I'm starting to get there, but again, it's not really about the numbers for me. It's really not about the numbers for me. It's really about what works best for my lifestyle, what works best for my personality, and what works best. And also, it's like, you don't want to get too big, because you want people to feel like they still have you. If I'm getting hired for a job, I don't want them to feel like I'm pulled too thin, and then it's lessening the quality of my work.
Sure.
So
now, let's talk about the potential Team Revi for the future, if that were to be put into place. Let's say you bring on 3 people. How would you approach that? And the reason I'm asking this is because a lot of people look at hey, we're going to start a team. They bring in agents that just add a little bit to their bottom line. They really don't run that team. It's like kind of the Wild West for that team. And there might be good agents on the team. There might be bad agents. Would you try to model and curate that team to be as close to the way you operate as possible? Or would you just be looking to add the revenue?
Well, it would have to make sense. And so what I mean by that is I would bring somebody on my team or bring somebody close to me to have access to my everyday if that person elevated me, if that person filled a void that within my business that I can't fill myself. What do I mean by that? For example, the equestrian market. Okay. So recently I had brought somebody into Addison Wolf. Her name is Dover Bull, and she is an expert equestrian. It's her passion. She knows the equestrian world like nobody else. And, I personally feel as though there is a lack of exceptional quality realtors representing the equestrian real estate world. And so for that reason, Dover is now working with me. She's not on my team because I don't need to work with her to be on a team or whatever. But I'm helping her and she's helping me because there's a whole nother language and terminology in the equestrian world as far as the level of the barns and the this and that. I can't even speak it. And so that is something that interests me because I feel as though she could educate me on a specific niche. Then we could talk about the world of builders. I would like to work exclusively with one builder so that we could elevate each other when it comes to new construction. And again, that they don't have to be on my team, but it's very important for me to align myself with just highly educated people that possess the human-like qualities that I like, that I could get along with, while also being exceptional individuals in what they do. And unfortunately, there aren't so many exceptional individuals. And so I'm just very, very, very selective. I have an assistant. She knows her roles. Our personalities work well together. She's highly creative. We're very, very different. And that works, and that keeps it special. I don't copy anybody, okay? I do not copy anybody. That is severely important to me. I have to be original. It has to be unique. It has to be something that I came up with. Otherwise, it's just flat. It's just like, I'm just like everybody else. So
is it just you and your assistant? Is that basically the dream team right now?
It is only myself and my assistant, but my assistant, Steph, doesn't sell any real estate. So I'm
Does
responsible.
she do like transaction coordinator stuff?
No, I have a different transaction coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like what, and that's one of the things that I wanted to try and find. Like, so what pieces do you have, supporting pieces do you have around you? So you have your assistant, you have a transaction coordinator, anything else that's like,
No.
that's it?
No.
And
It's my crazy brain.
it is a little crazy. We can see that.
Well, listen, like I said, I have some trusted individuals, inspectors, appraisers, mortgage lenders, all realtors
That
kind of
stuff.
have their team. But as far as the everyday, I have my own process of how I stay in touch with people. I don't send automated email searches to clients or buyers that I'm working with. I don't believe in that. It's not me. Everything that I do is a curated experience, and it's a personal experience. I connect to people one-on-one on a personal level so that it's real, so that it's authentic. I'm not sending you an automated email blast. Hey, check out this new house. It just hit the market for $800,000, and your budget is $800 to $900. Like that's so AI, like computer generated, and then that takes away the realness of what you're doing.
So you're offering a very personalized
Yes.
experience.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah, you either gotta like me to work with me. That's it.
how
Really.
important is that type of service to your clientele? Like, do you think?
Well, I think that my
if you-
clientele, I think they like it because I'm getting more and more referrals.
do you think you could, if you were a little more automated, let's say, but the results were the same, do you think you'd still be in the same position?
That's a very good question. And it's quite possible that the results still would be the same. And that's probably a matter of me releasing some control,
Which is probably very tough for you.
It's tough,
It's not
but
a
it's
bad
not,
thing.
but it's not impossible. But it's also like, I want to be able to build this business so I know it's running like a well-oiled machine before I release any control.
Sure, fair enough. Now, let's. You mentioned new construction, how you'd like to work exclusively there. What does Revi add to the equation for a builder that you're working with?
Oh my God. I'm the best realtor to work with when it comes to a builder and aligning themselves with new construction and who is going to represent their project. And I'm the best for many reasons. And I'm just going to be very direct and say that. It's because I understand the process. I understand the questions a buyer may have as far as it's very, very complicated, the building process, but actually it could be very simple. So I simplify it. And I think that that's a very important component to representing a builder, is being able to convey the art of their craft in a way that's simple English. So there's different. Well, there's all different levels to it, right? Because it depends what architect the builder is working with. The architect will come up with a rendering of the proposed house that they're going to build, okay? And then I have to put it together in a listing presentation format, which involves floor plans, which usually involves making edits to those floor plans. Hey, can we have this ceiling be 15 feet higher or not? Can we move that pantry wall here, there, whatever? Hey, are we going to be able to use this type of like oak, 5-inch oak plank flooring or not?
So you're very involved in the building process.
I stay very involved, yes, because I really enjoy it, because it's like another artistic form of design. Rather than designing a menswear shirt line, I help design like the interior of a house. But it's also about presentation. And I think that my success, and I've really sold a lot of new construction homes, I think it's really more because I really help the buyer feel comfortable and understand what they're buying and how it's going to work.
Are you working with builders that are like putting up a whole community, or more custom, like one-offs, or like maybe, hey, like a small portfolio, like of?
I'm not working with huge builders like Toll Brothers or no. I've only have experience working with builders that are more boutique type of builders, luxury, builds, customized homes.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite or most memorable new construction transaction that you did where you were in from the beginning to the end, and like, hey, maybe the finished product, or like, hey, the scenario with like putting the people in the home, it was just, do you have something like that where you're like, this one was awesome?
Well, I think I'm kind of in the middle of going through that right now, because it's a project that has taken years from conception to being fully executed. It's not fully executed yet. So very early on in my real estate career, there was a piece of property for sale right on the riverfront, 130 North Main Street. And it was this really, really horrific, ugly looking building that had 4 units in it. And it was really disgusting and an eyesore of the community. But it was riverfront, and it was just waiting and waiting for the right person to come along, to have the vision, to see through what it could be. And, you know, ugly or not ugly, the riverfront real estate is skyrocketing in price. So I kept pitching the idea to certain builders, like, hey, listen, if you just knock this building down, if you just buy it for like $4 million just to knock it down, but then you could recreate it and build 4 luxury townhouses, and I could sell them for like this and that and this and that, and then you can make this amount of money, and it's going to cost you this, and it's going to be state of the art. It's never going to be done before, and on and on and on. So
Painting the vision.
I had that vision for the very beginning, like literally day one of my real estate career. And
so do you just manufacture deals sometimes where you're just like driving by, you see something, you're like, that could be cool. You look into it and then present it to somebody, and then things just happen?
Well, if I know that it could happen, then yeah, even if it sounds crazy.
Yeah, that's...
So anyway, so I finally got this builder, Barley Custom Homes, him and his architect, Keith Boyd of Barley Custom Homes and Brian Mann of Omnia Architects. They saw it too. And they were the only 2 who were able to figure it out. And when I say figure it out, I mean like the township is very difficult to work, with trying to get things approved in a historic town. And they came up with this incredible conceptual rendering of a building that now is in the process of being built. And I have pre-sold off-market 2 units already for very, very high numbers. I mean, very, very high. And so that is a building project that I'm currently the most proud of, interested in, excited to see. And I am working with one of the buyers to help him pick out all of the finishes of the inside.
You enjoy that part of it?
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yeah.
So... Okay, so we're getting a little bit short on time, so I want to move to a few other things. So I want to talk about time, right? So crap load of energy. You're like big ball of energy. That's awesome. And you said in the beginning it takes working your ass off to be where you're at right now. How much time over the course of a week are you putting into this? And like maybe talk about the hours.
Oh, it's 24/7. But I mean, listen, there's different seasons and different times of the year. I'm still very busy right now. I expect that right before Thanksgiving till the end of the year, things quiet down. So there's ebbs and flows. So, if it's a quiet time of year, like after 2 weeks, I get bored. I'm like, let's go. Can the new year be over already? Time to get back. Right. But on a daily week for me, I am usually working definitely working Monday through Friday.
Okay.
I start early. I wake up at 5 o'clock usually. I work out in the morning. I usually come to the office, or I'm on appointments, or whatever I'm doing. Sometimes if I have nothing, sometimes I have nothing to do actually. And if it's a nice day, I'll go for a walk. I don't know. I mean, but it is a 24/7 job. I'm very much about getting back to people and communicating promptly. So how many hours do I put into this? I mean, honestly, all realtors spend a lot of time doing what they do. I don't know. So I don't really know how to answer that question. It just kind of becomes who you are, I guess.
I think that's a good way to put it. And I don't mean like, hey, is it 40 hours or this type of thing? But it's like, you have to be all in, I guess, right?
You have to commit to being all in. And like, listen, if I needed a change, I would commit to the change. I'd be like, listen, I'm taking a break from real estate. I want to go to Europe for 2 months. I want to do whatever I want to do. And that's what I'm going to do. So like right now, I'm still fully committed to real estate because I have goals. And, my goal for this year, which seemed insane, it seemed like an insane thing to say because it is insane. My goal was to try to close 2024 with close and pending in sales of 100 million. I'm not there yet, but I'm so close that I kind of feel like I'm already there because it's close enough for me. And so, yeah, then that'll be a goal of mine. And then I'll just come up with a new goal. Like maybe next year, my goal has nothing to do with selling real estate. Maybe my goal is going to be to like find a relationship and like, I don't know, build a house.
So year one, I would love, you got to make sure we get to see the house if you build one.
Yeah.
So year one, your expectations were like, I don't know what I'm doing, whatever. When did you set your first like goal? Was it year two or like partway through year one, you're like, shit, let's go for this number?
Yeah, it was after year one that I said, that I realized that I kind of had a good thing going on. And then I was like, all right, let's see what we could do. And then I just started to really see. And the thing is that when you start a new year, you start with new goals and everything. And even how you start or what you think, I had no idea what the path was going to look like to get to where I wanted to be or to get to that goal. I didn't know, I didn't see it, but it always just kind of like works out. And I have to say, like, I had a lot of setbacks this year. I mean, there were some listings that I was supposed to get that could have really catapulted me and they didn't work out and I didn't get them. And I still ended up being okay and finding my way. And so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you talked about working out. You obviously organized all those type of things. What do you do for yourself that allows you to maintain sanity and operate at the level that you're operating?
I drive my assistant crazy and I drive my family crazy. What do I do for myself? I try to stay healthy. I try to stay healthy. I try to recharge my battery. I don't really go out that much because at the end of the day, I'm mentally drained from people. And so it makes it difficult for me at the end of the day to keep going, to even like talk to people. So I do have downtime that I need. And like that'll just literally be, not talking to anyone, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. I have to recharge my battery. I have to make sure I don't get burnt out. I have to make sure I'm eating pretty healthy. Because honestly, the pace that I'm at, it's kind of like training to be like an Olympic athlete of real estate. That's how I feel sometimes. Like I am in training because I want to be the best to be the best. So I don't know. I just do the best that I can, I guess. I don't know.
You're humble. Okay. So just a like kind of personal curiosity, that restaurant that is, since we're in New Hope, the one that was the church, is that place any good?
Old Stone?
Yeah.
I don't go there that often. It's a very cool place.
It is. I stepped in. I didn't spend any time in there, though.
Yeah. Truth be told, if you want a good meal, I have a few other recommendations, but if you've never been to Old Stone, I would highly recommend you go sit at the bar, go upstairs. It's a very, very cool atmosphere and ambiance.
Cool. What's your favorite restaurant in New Hope?
Oh.
Or, well, put it this way. Not your favorite restaurant. If you had to pick a place right now to go to dinner tonight, where would it be?
Well, I like Zuby's. I like the atmosphere. I think it's just very, European in style, and it's small and it's intimate and it's cozy and the food is delicious. But I also like in Lambertville. There's a lot of little gems in Lambertville.
That's where we met that one time at that coffee shop, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah. Lambertville's a great little town, but I don't know. I'll email you a list of my recommendations.
I'm sure you have a bunch. Okay.
I do.
And quick advice you would give to somebody looking to potentially go down the path you're on.
Oh,
An agent.
I help a lot of agents. I have a lot of females that have reached out to me and they've kind of told me that I've inspired them. And I help every single one with any questions that they have, with advice, what to do. Because guess what? Even though I'm competitive, I really do want the best for everybody. And really, if I could do it, they could do it too. And I think that I'm happy to offer really good advice because I like to see other people succeed and help people. So what was your question?
Advice you give to an agent that's looking to do what you're doing.
Oh.
Or like has aspirations to do it at your
listen,
level.
you got to want to work hard and you have to really love it and you have to want to do it. If you think that you want to make a lot of money, it's not going to work. If that's what's leading you, it's not going to work because it's really hard to do a deal. One deal is really fucking hard. Nobody realizes how hard it is, how much work is involved in just one. So you have to really, really, really like every single part of it. Because if you are just like focusing on the commission check at the end of the day, your life is going to be hell to get there.
I think that's amazing advice.
Yeah.
And then, so your marketing. So I know you don't like the video aspect of it, but you seem to be diving into getting portraits and stuff taken. So how'd you come up with that?
It's so torturous, honestly.
You look like you love it.
No. No. It's really bad. I mean, I'm trying to elevate myself and like make my website a little bit, higher end, and it involves professional photography and like getting your hair done, your makeup done, like wearing like a nice outfit. And like the fashion stuff I'm fine with, but for the photographer probably has to take 5,000 pictures of me for me to like 2. It's terrible.
Yeah, you are. I can see that.
And so I'm trying. I'm really
Totally.
I'm trying to push myself to like be more like
I think one of the
open
things
about it or like less self-critical.
I think that's your problem.
Yeah, I'm very self-critical. So I'm not really all the way good. I'm not really there yet.
I love the colors.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. What inspired you? Just like, hey, I'm going to go with this cool.
Oh, like my social posts?
Yeah.
Oh, just because they always have to be different. And it's like whatever mood I'm in for that day. I'm like, okay, we have a closing coming up I have a few closings coming up, so I have to start making them. I'm like, let's do this house, but I'm just feeling like really like vibes from, I don't really know. I mean, like in June, I was going through like a retro type of vintage phase. So like I was inspired by that. And it's really whatever I'm inspired with at the time. I'll just kind of turn it into, the autumn. I was kind of feeling like Ralph Lauren, like plums and hunter green. So then we started doing plaids, and God only knows what you're going to see next week. Like probably like unicorns and butterflies. I have no idea. So I just try to change and be different from everyone else because again, like I don't want anyone copying me. And I really don't even think that my style, people probably don't even like my style. They probably think that I'm
noticeable.
Crazy. Yeah.
In a good,
if I like it, that's all that matters, right?
It is, but it is marketing and it sticks out. It looks good.
Yeah. I got to be different.
That's it. All right. And then final question we ask all of our podcast guests to do is send us off with a positive message to the world.
Woo! Okay. Send us off with a positive message to the world. A positive message to the world would be I mean, the world is really messed up right now. So this is a very serious question. I would say every day that you live your life, if you could just try to make an effort to do one thing a day, to help somebody else in the smallest way possible, then you're making the world a better place. And then in the Jewish religion, it's called a mitzvah. So whether that be open the door for somebody else, You could go to bed at night and think about your day, and you could reflect, and you could say, at least I opened the door for that person today walking into the supermarket. If you paid $5 or someone's, whatever it is, go out of your way one time a day to do something kind for somebody else. That would be my advice to the world. Because you know what? We can't change this world overnight. It's going to change only happens with a lot of little teeny, meeny
Keep going.
steps of kindness. Very small steps make big change. Yeah, that's what I've learned.
Awesome. That's it.
That's
Thank you,
it.
Revi.
All right, thanks guys. This was really fun. Now I'm off the hook. That was like high pressure.